And here are the Belgian brushstroke or Belgian Congo pattern pants that I was just talking about the jacket for. And like I said, they're made of a slightly different material, slightly heavier material that seems to hold the color a little bit better. I don't know why this is, but I have another pair of these pants without the jacket, and there's the same basic hue as these are, so I know it's not a mismatched set necessarily of this pants or this set of pants and the jacket that I have. I think just for whatever reason, the either the thickness or the type of cloth that they used, it tended to hold the color better over time. Um, Basic features are going to be a bunch of buttons in the back, which along with these um, sort of slits or loops were, for what I imagine, were probably suspenders. As you can see, there's no belt loops for it, and then there's more buttons in the front. The buttons also extend to the front closure, which is 3 buttons at the bottom, or 4 buttons actually, and then an eyelet at the top with another button over here. Another thing that kept the pants closed as well was this drawstring waist with this heavy duty cotton knitted material, very similar to some of the web gear that they used at the time, although not quite as thick. Um, Inside there's also a white tag, which fortunately my camera is not going to do such a hot job of looking at up close, but it says RAKA 1956, and then there's a size, I believe. Other than that, on the sides here, it has these cargo pockets, which interestingly, unlike the jacket, have a button closure with a semi-housed eyelet, which, if anybody's read my review of the Norwegian M75 smock that I have, seems like they'd be a real pain in the butt to try and get open if you were in any type of stressful situation. So I can understand why that's been done away with in more recent uniforms, but it is present here. And there's a identical one over on the, oh no, I take that back. There's actually only one, which is interesting. So that shows you how much I know about my own stuff. Other than that, there's slash pockets, the always fun slash pockets, which are not necessarily useful for a heck of a lot of anything. These are very deep though, which I guess would make them a little bit more useful. And then what we have at the bottom here is a set of drawstrings, which you can see are pretty long for whatever reason. I think they were primarily meant to go through these gusseted holes and be tied in such a fashion that they would obviously keep the legs closed at the cuff. Other than that, there is nothing really else to say about these. They do not have rear wallet pockets, which, if you've watched my other reviews, I'm perfectly fine with. The inclusion of one cargo pocket, which, as you can tell, I just discovered myself, is interesting. I'm not sure what the design of that is. I know in looking at some of my other uniforms, that's not necessarily uncommon. I don't have a pair, but I know on the 3-2 Battalion pants from South Africa, they do the same thing where they only have one cargo pocket. I don't know what the reasoning for that is, especially with it being on the left side. Perhaps it was used as a dump pouch or something like that. But not having a whole lot of information on these, I can't really do anything more than speculate. These, going back to how I got a hold of them, um, they were actually something that was in my father's collection for a long time, and then he basically gifted them to me because he knew I wanted them. So they're not particularly common. I don't know how long he had them in his collection, but I want to say probably a good 15, 20 years, just based on me having seen them around before. These pants are actually somewhat available. Like I said, I have another um, set of them, and I picked them up for maybe 25 bucks, but the jackets are much less common, and I probably see them for more around, I want to say maybe 80 to 100 bucks depending on the condition. And that's obviously in the US. Guys in Europe, I think, can get a hand on them a little bit easier from either thrift stores or resellers like Miltech. But in the US, they are going to run you a pretty penny. And to be honest, I really don't know how good they would be for airsofting, just because they are heavyweight. They might be good for maybe winter, but other than that, they're probably going to be just a little too thick and a little too non-breathable for most people to use, unless maybe you're gonna use them in the way that they were originally designed, and you're just gonna stick your BBs or your extra mags in these pockets here and just do away with a plate carrier or something like that. But that about wraps it up for these. As I said, they're very cool. Um, there's something different for certain. If you're doing maybe a period game and you've got the extra bucks, I would absolutely suggest trying to pick some up if you can. They'll definitely last you a while if you can find them. So they are worth a look. Till next time, I bid you a good day, and I will talk to you soon, hopefully with another camo review.